Good afternoon. I'm John Lycouris. I'm CEO of Dorian LPG USA. This is a disclaimer for any forward-looking statements in my presentation. Just a quick overlook of the company. Dorian LPG carries LPG, which is propane and butane, and we are one of the leading and most modern fleet in the world. We established the company in 2013, and when we placed a big order with Hyundai for VLGCs, but we have been in the LPG trade since 2002 with smaller vessels. The fleet currently comprises of 19 eco VLGCs and 3 modern VLGCs. The average age for that fleet is 4.7 years. On the bottom right, you can see the average age of the global fleet. 18 vessels are employed in a pool called Helios LPG Pool. The pool operates 27 vessels, and it was founded by the company along with Phoenix Tankers in 2015. The remaining vessels are on charter away from the pool. The company provides full in-house commercial and technical management services for all the vessels in the whole fleet, and that includes the Helios Pool and Dorian LPG vessels. We are listed in the New York Stock Exchange. Just some basics about LPG. What it is, it's propane and butane. It is produced from natural gas and crude oil exploration, and sometimes those liquids are fractionated and separated, and you have the natural gas liquids that we call from natural gas or from crude oil. What we use LPG for is mainly for heating and cooking. It is clean, it burns clean, it has no sulfur oxides or particulate matter that other fuels have, and it reduces a bit the greenhouse gases problem. It also, it's highly portable. It can be moved around easily, from LPG cylinders, and it can be used in remote places, urban areas, and so on. Just a little bit of an idea of where the LPG volumes have been growing. We have been transporting for the last year 95 million tons. You can see that we started in 2013 with 63 million tons. It's a huge increase in LPG trade, shipborne trade, I must say. The United States accounts for most of that. And the Arabian Gulf has been more or less steady, but around the 30-some million tons. The trade flows are from the Arabian Gulf to the Far East, and also we have from the US Gulf to the Far East, either through the Panama Canal, via the Cape of Good Hope, or straight to Europe and South America. The fleet, when it was built, there was some thinking about 2020. And the thinking was we should prepare for that no matter what. We saw it coming. It was something that it was going to be happening with the MARPOL Annex 6 being changed. And we decided to make some of our ships capable to take LPG deck tanks, and we installed strengthening on the deck. We installed 2 scrubbers at that time in 2015, so we have an experience of about 4 years in operating scrubbers. And then last year we ordered 10 scrubbers from 2 different manufacturers. We do like the LPG as fuel. We always liked it. We always wanted to move forward with LPG, but the fuel differentials and the pricing was not there yet at that time. We will seriously be looking into this, and actually we have done a study with American Bureau of Shipping. My colleague, Stavros Niotis, is going to follow up on that, and I also wanted to mention that with Hyundai, we have an MOU to upgrade up to 10 vessels into this. A little bit of the fuel options of most of the shipping fleets Either you can use the distillate or blended fuels as they come from now on. You can use high sulfur fuels if you have a scrubber. You can use alternative fuels if you have an LNG engine, LPG engine, ethane engine, or methanol engine. And there are new fuels which haven't yet come up to existence. So with that, I would like to pass over the podium to my colleague Stavros. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lycouris. Kalispera from myself as well. Now I will get into more details about this techno-economic study that we did together with Dorian LPG. This is basically, this was split in two parts. The first was a cost-benefit analysis, life cycle cost analysis, as we like to call it. Looking into not only on LPG as a fuel, but all the various solutions that were described by Mr. Lycouris just earlier, meaning burning low sulfur compliant fuel, low sulfur fuel oil, using scrubbers, open loop, closed loop from various manufacturers, and of course the option of LPG as a fuel. And I will get into more details about the KPIs coming out from this life cycle cost analysis, mainly the values that we got for the LPG as a fuel, because it's our subject today. It was also a technical evaluation study looking into the regulatory framework, the rules and requirements for burning the cargo as a fuel, the LPG cargo as a fuel, and this is what I will start with in my presentation. First of all, looking into a little bit on the system, on the arrangement. We are talking about a service deck tank, meaning up to around 500 cubic meters storage tank on the deck. And of course, the system, it's already there. It's already, the design complies with the safety standards, the safety level standards like we do in the LNG as a fuel. We are talking about the MAN-ME LGI engine working in two-stroke diesel cycle mode. I will just stick, because we don't have much time, so I will just stick to the most important things. And compared to the LNG as a fuel, to the methane fuel engine, in the LPG as a fuel engine, we have the LPG being sent to the engine, up to the engine with 40 bar pressure in a liquid state. And as Mr. Lycouris mentioned earlier, we have reduction on the emissions, both, of course, on SOx emissions, because we don't have any sulfur content in the LPG. NOx emissions are also reduced around to 15 to 20 maximum percent, and CO2 emissions are also reduced. Looking into the regulatory framework, we are talking about existing ships, gas carriers following the IGC code, not the IGF code. The gas carriers are following completely the IGF code, so the IGC code, excuse me. So on that respect, the old IGC code that these vessels were following were not allowing other cargo other than methane to be burned as a fuel, but the new code has introduced the section 16.9, which gives an open road for using alternative fuels. So this will most probably need to pass through the equivalence approach. The flag administration has been into the discussion since the very early beginning of this project, where we had the very first discussions back in 2014 together with Dorian LPG. Some additional consequence studies, gas dispersion analysis within the engine room is required, FMEAs, and etc. And about the main engine retrofit, as we say there, it is not considered as a major conversion according to the MARPOL Annex 6, because basically you are improving the emissions of the engine. So this is just a slide looking into the IGF code for other vessels other than gas carriers, and what are the requirements there, a lot of risk assessments, etc. So I will jump out of that. And then going into the life cycle cost analysis, these are the assumptions: 20 years life cycle expectancy, the base case for the HFO price, $320 per million tons. We have also run an extra scenario where the HFO and the LPG had pretty much the same price, and we have already indications in the market about similar pricing in some areas. The numbers that you will see here are based on this base case scenario with LPG as a fuel at $440 per million tons, equivalent to MGO. And these are other assumptions with respect to the operation, how the percentage of the load and how you operate the main engine, the auxiliary engines, and the etc. 22% of the year in operating within the ECA zones, and also some benefit because of burning LPG at the gas mode at around 7% gain in consumption. These are the results. The payback period is a little bit more than 3 years, 3.1 years, and the discounted payback period 3.2 years. And the net savings around 27 million. And in the case where we run with a similar price, HFO and LPG, then this payback period was around a little bit more than 2 years, and the net savings were around 44 millions. So by this, I'm just concluding my presentation. Thank you very much, and we can pass to the next slide.